Hey, welcome to Diminutive Soldier. Today I got with me Quebec 1759 by Columbia Games. This is the 50th anniversary edition of this game. This is Columbia Games' very first block game they ever came out with in the 70s. If you're not familiar with Columbia's block games, where you been? Their block games are fantastic. It's a phenomenal system. Fog of war system. You don't know exactly what the enemy's units are. They don't know what your units are moving around the board. And a pretty simplistic system too. It makes wargaming accessible to the masses. It makes wargaming accessible to those who don't want to focus 10 hours a day to play a massive game and just want a quick fun game with their friends and move on. So this is Quebec 1759, and one lucky viewer out there watching the Diminutive Soldier, I don't know what that voice was. I apologize. I get in front of the camera, I do weird things. I don't know what I'm doing. One lucky winner is going to win Quebec 1759. I'm doing the giveaway on March 24th, 2025. And how it works is you simply subscribe to to my channel, like this video, and in the comments, comment below. Comment anything you want. That's all you have to do. Comment what you think about Quebec in general. Have you ever been to Quebec? Do you like Canada? Were you at Quebec in 1759? Were you in Quebec in 1758 during the first siege? Were you in Quebec in the third siege in 1760? I don't know, but the French couldn't get it, man. If you know your history, this is during the French and Indian War, as we call it here in the United States, the 7 Years' War, and the British took Quebec. Long story short, okay, they overwhelmed the French, took Quebec, and that really was a huge turning point, resulting in Canada today being of the British Commonwealth. So anyways, let's check the game out. Yet again, March 24th, I'm giving this game away. I'll ship it for free anywhere in the continental United States. Outside that, we'll stay in contact and see if it's real expensive. You may have to pony up a little bit if you still want it. But March 24th, subscribe, please. Please subscribe. Every time I get a subscriber, I get so happy. As my channel grows, I get more things that are sent to me that I can do and give away for free. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And just more opportunities. I do this for fun, these videos. I just do them on my free time. I have a day job. This isn't my job, obviously. I just have a good time doing them. I just love games. I've always loved watching board game review videos and how to play. I don't know why. It's weird, but I'm preaching to the choir because you're here watching me right now. I mean, I don't know. I do this. I watch all these videos all the time. And I love them. And I appreciate you watching me, and I hope you love it. But yeah, just comment below, subscribe. Maybe you'll win Quebec 1759. Let's check the game out. First things first, let's pop open the box and check it out. Here's the front of it. Great cover art there, 50th anniversary edition, Columbia Games. Here's the back of it. Shows the map, which we'll get to, which is awesome. It's for 2 players, age 12 and up. Takes about an hour to play, not long at all. Comes with 50 large wooden blocks, your battle board, game rules and dice, and your mounted map. All right, so let's pop the box. Get this little book from Columbia Games, just of their other games that they have. Here's Alliance, multiplayer, Napoleonic war game. I also have this game. I need to do a video of it. I don't know, all kind of. I have Richard III. It's a fantastic game. Hammer the Scots, I want to get. I hear it's incredible. Julius Caesar is a fantastic game. I have Wizard Kings, which is a really fun fantasy game. And I have a game similar to that. I think it's Combat Infantry, which I want to get. World War II game. Got all kind of great block games here. Oh, maybe it's Victory. Rotate, move map. So it's Victory. This is the game you custom build your own battles and you can play. I really need to check that game out. That game sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Here's Wizard Kings, same thing. You build your own map, you build your own forces and play. A lot of fun. 7 armies to master. There's an RPG fantasy game they came out with. Medieval RPG fantasy. Richard III, Julius Caesar. Available on Steam. Dang, I didn't know those games were on Steam. That's cool. All right, so that's a little booklet that comes with. This is the battle board for the game, which we'll get to later. Love the artwork on it. I really do. I think the artwork in this game is great. Fantastic. These are sheets I printed out on Board Game Geek. Little reference sheets for the game, which I'll explain to later. And here's the board for the game, which I, much like the battle board, love the art of this. Let me lay this out. It's pretty big. I love the style of this board and that it just looks like a map. There are spaces when it comes to movement, but they're not, they're not hexes, they're not big square defined areas to keep it looking just like a map. For instance, here, Levi's, I don't know how you pronounce it. This area is a space. Wherever there's the red names, Abraham, Sillery, Etchemin, this is a space. St. Foy is a space. Cap Rouge is a space. Beauport's a space. St. Charles. Montmorency, I don't know how to pronounce it. Ile-de-Lons is a space. So those are all spaces, which we'll get to in a minute, how that works and moving around. And these are the bag of blocks you get. Now, when you first get the game, they're just blank wooden blocks with sticker sheets. You have to sticker every single block. There's quite a bit of them. That's the only downside to these Columbia game block games is the stickering. But put a show on, just sticker them up. It's not as time consuming and easier than putting together miniatures, I can tell you that much. So you got all your blocks. You got your British and your French blocks. And I think you can tell which is which. Blue for France, red for the British. And every block represents an actual unit, regiment that was in the battle, which is cool. This is the 58th. And they start, these numbers across the side are their strength. So you'll set the block up on the board with their highest strength on top, like so. You'll set it up. And as they take damage, you rotate it, and they get weaker and weaker until they're destroyed. And it's simple. The number is just how many dice they roll in a battle. 4 dice. He takes damage. 3 dice. So forth, so on. You got the French have a lot of weaker units, just militia. Montreal militia, Quebec militia. They have a few regular infantry, these Marines, but mostly they have just basic militia. The British have some, so you can see they have some detachments that are just one. But mostly the British have more elite soldiers, and the French have more militia-based soldiers. The box also comes with your standard D6 dice. And it just comes with a couple extra blocks in case, something happened to one of the blocks when you open them up and they weren't in the exact square shape, but I didn't have any of those issues. So the point of this game is, like in history, for the British to capture Quebec City, which is right here. And so in real life, in 1759, the British, under Wolfe, he was the commanding officer for the British. Pretty bad ace name for commanding officer, Wolfe, if you ask me. Landed their forces right here in the Isle of Orleans, Ile d'Orléans. They landed all their forces here. And they had their ships and they had their navy. The French didn't have any navy. The British had their ships and they got ship blocks here. And trying to figure out what was the best way for them to take Quebec City. I can't remember the order they did it in. The British tried to land at, I believe it was St. Charles area up here. It didn't go great. Wolfe then went on and started burning farmland in the surrounding area to decrease the French soldiers, their militia. Because like I said, mostly that's what the French had. The British eventually came up here in this area to block Cap Rouge. Now, here's Quebec. This road goes through Cap Rouge onto Montreal. So they wanted to stop reinforcements from Montreal getting to Quebec. So the British eventually took that. And these are all valid strategies in this game. They made this game so realistic to what actually happened, yet so easy to play, which is really fantastic. And what I mean by that, and let me backtrack, the British had to do this pretty quickly before winter came. If winter came and the British still had Quebec City under siege, and they hadn't captured it yet, I mean, the British were going to have to fall back. They're going to have to fall back to their fort, in their area. They couldn't stay out here. So they had to do it pretty quick. So in this game, you have a total of 16 rounds. That's it, 16 rounds. And for the British to win, they have to hold this area here, Abraham Plains, I think is what it was called in real life in the actual battle. That's where the final battle took place. You have to capture that. The British have to hold it with no enemy there at the end of the 16th round. If the British hold it any earlier than that, if they hold it on the 5th round, it doesn't matter. Then they have to maintain it to the 16th and make sure they hold it the whole time. And for the British to win, they have to do that and have no less than 20 combat value. Your combat value are these little numbers. So all your units still on the board can't be less than 20. You know, as you take damage, I said it goes down. So if you're down to 15, you automatically lose. That's it. For the French to win, they just have to either whittle the British down below 20 combat points, and stop them. Don't let them hold that around 16. And so the British start with all of their forces here in Ile d'Orléans? I don't know, the Isle of Orleans. I was going to say that. They start with all of their forces here, just like in real life. And you have to decide where to attack from. Now, there's different strategies. If you could see this little dotted red line right here, that means these two river areas are separated. There's St. Laurent and Basin right here. They're two separate waterways. Now the British can try to maneuver down this way, maybe make their way to Cap Rouge, or they could head up there. The reasons and different strategies is every time the British take a territory, every time they do, the French has to get rid of one of their Quebec militia. Once the British take a territory, some militia routes, heads back home, and just leaves to head back and protect their families. So every time, it's just the first time the British take a territory, the French lose one of those Quebec militia, start dwindling. Once the British, if they take and hold Cap Rouge, leave a unit behind or whatever, if they hold it, then at the end of every round, British player has to get rid of a Montreal unit or I'm trying to find one, Montreal. Or one of these units. Troy Rivieres, I don't know. So the British have a way of they could either just go in swinging and try to hit really hard here, but really you're wanting to dwindle the French down. And that makes the French where they can't just keep their forces massed here the entire time. They have to try to slow the British down and dwindle the British, because remember, they get the British below 20 combat value of all of their units added together, then they automatically win. And so there's back and forth going, and there's a lot of depth and strategy to it. And every time you play, you could try something different. And now this is a very dice-heavy game, okay? So if you don't like dice, a lot of dice rolling and luck involved with that, then you might not like this game. Doesn't bother me at all. I love dice rolling. And especially in a game like this era of history, that kind of, to me, that kind of depicts the unknown of battle. You know, depicts the unknown of unit effectiveness, your accuracy, your units retreating and routing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let me get the board set up and show you how movement works and how combat works. And somehow when I did the unboxing, I forgot to show you the rule book, which, look at this, it's only 3 pages. That's it. And this is all just history of the battle. That's the total rules right there, which is awesome. Love that. So this is the setup. Like I said, the British have to all start here. In the French, you can set up anywhere you want. The reason I set the French up the way I did is because the British, right now, they have to do amphibious assaults. They can't obviously walk across the river to these territories. They have to go by boat. And you can only take 1 block per ship. So only 4 units at a time can attack. And the boats could only attack areas in this basin river region. There's this little dotted line here, it's separated. So the only place the British could land for the first round is here in Levis, or up here in St. Charles, or here in Beauport, or here in Montmorency. I don't know how to pronounce these things. Now, let me show you how the blocks are set up. Let's get down and close. So this is a block game. This is a Columbia block game, which has fog of war. The enemy don't know what blocks are what. So what I mean, you can see the British blocks are facing the British player. The French blocks are facing the French player, as you can see. You're not sure what blocks are what. Now, the British can attack here, and then you'll see what the French player has. You could try to remember if you've weakened them and what's there. But as the French moves around, you may forget. You can see the French side. Let's switch over. Here's what the French has. Now, like I said, they have a lot of weaker units. So in this area, here's their units. Here's what they have in this area to defend. So what they have here. Here's their leader, Montcalm. He actually died in the battle, and so did Wolfe. So did the British leader. Both of them actually died in the battle, and they're not that strong. Even it says 1, but whenever they battle, they roll 2 dice, and if they roll double 6s, they die. Which could happen. I mean, like I said, they actually died in the battle. So that's the layout for the battle. Now, how movement works, I stated the first round the British could only move via amphibious assault, and they could only move 1 unit per ship. So only 4 units can move in one of those areas. On land, how movement works is connected by roads. So here, Levis is connected to this road to Etchemin, right there. And you can see Montmorency's connected to Beauport by road. Beauport's connected to St. Charles by road. St. Charles is connected to Abraham by road. From Abraham, you can go to Sillery, or by road, you can go all the way to St. Foy. And St. Foy is connected here to Cap Rouge. And Cap Rouge is also connected here to Sillery. The French on the southern bank here of St. Laurent, 4 units at a time can cross over to Sillery or Cap Rouge. It's also connected to the river. So 4 units at a time could take some little boats over there. Now the British can move ships 2 at a time from Basin to St. Laurent. So they can get in this area to start funneling troops from down here across. And so how does movement work? How do you do it? Well, as I stated, you have 16 rounds. This is it. Yet again, I printed this off Board Game Geek. You have 16 rounds for the British to win. Every single round, the British will secretly write down what orders they want to give, and the French will secretly write down their orders. Every round, you can only move from one area. So the French can't say, I want to move, 3 units from here to here. I want to move here to there. Nope. The French can write down and say, I want to move every unit from St. Charles to Abraham, or I want to move 2 units from St. Charles to Abraham. The British say, I want to move, well, right now, they can only move 4 units on these ships here. You could say you're not going to do anything. The French can say, I'm holding and doing nothing. Then, of course, whenever you have opposing forces, you go into battle. Now, everyone moves the same. Everyone fights the same, as in they roll that many dice. That's on the top of their block here. And you always hit on 6s. That's it. You hit on 6s. Except, as I stated, the leader rolls 2 dice. And if they roll double 6s, they still count as hits, but the leader dies. And the only real difference is the French have Ottawa Native Americans. Is it not focusing? Yeah. Ottawa Native Americans. They move and act differently from normal French units. So every turn, now this will be the French turn, you can decide to move the Ottawa unit anywhere on the board you want to. So they could pop up right here, boom, right here. And they roll doubles what their number is. So he'd roll 8 dice. This is called doing a raid. For every 6s you do damage to the British units. They decide which ones they want to take the damage. And then the Ottawa Native Americans retreat anywhere else on the board you want them to retreat to where there's no enemy. They just pop up, do damage, and retreat. Now, the British sometimes can't do anything about it unless wherever you're attacking, the British have the Rangers or light infantry. If they do, before the Ottawa natives retreat, they can attack back, rolling just their normal dice. The Ottawa natives can also pop up and scout, which makes the British turn over 4 units to show the French what they have there. And in normal battle, the Ottawa natives can attack, which we'll get to in a minute. They can only be used as reserve. So let me show you kind of the first round and show you how the game works. So the British got to go somewhere. They can only have 4 units at a time attack. They'd really like to start making their way down here and hitting this area and trying to take levies, and then moving on down to Etchman, which is down in this area. And yet again, every time they take a territory, the French have to lose a Quebec militia. And the British would ultimately strategically love to do that, then send their ships down, which you can only send 2 ships at a time, so that's going to take 2 rounds just to get the ships to St. Laurent, and then start funneling troops to Cap Rouge to cut off the Montreal troops, make their way to Abraham. That's ultimately what they'd love to do. But when you're doing an amphibious assault, it's not as easy. When you do that, every time you attack, the defenders roll first, always. But when you're doing an amphibious assault, they roll double their combat, double on the first round. So that's pretty brutal. Now the British, I've lined them up like so. Maybe you wouldn't want to do this in a normal game because the game you're kind of wanting to trick your opponent too of what units you have. I have their best infantry is this line. This is a whole line of their best infantry, whole column. This whole column right here is the worst, where it's just ones. I got their scouts, light infantry, rangers here, which are combat 3. I have this unit, which is also combat 3. I have 1 combat 2, the grenadiers, and their leader Wolf here. So they're needing to land, and they're needing to hit hard. Now, at the start of your round, before you move, you can bring 1 square down a notch and increase another. So for instance, let's say this one had already been in battle and he's down at 2. That's his effectiveness. And let's say you had this detachment in here. Well, you can get rid of this detachment to bring him up to 3. If you had another detachment, you get rid of it to bring him back up to full force. And every time you do, you're getting rid of a detachment. In this game, there is no reinforcements. No units are coming back. It just is what it is. So let's just say he's looking. He says there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units here, 6 there, 7 there, 5 here. I mean, he has a better chance of landing at Beauport. Of course, he doesn't know what units are there. I mean, he'd love to come down here, but maybe he can ignore them for a bit and make the French have to use turns, because the French would have to move them to Etchman, then can only get 4 at a time across. So the British sees that area is a little bit weaker. The British is going to, on their turn, they're going to write down on the sheet, on number 1, I'll write down 4 units to Beauport. And he secretly writes that down. The French, they want to hold. They don't know where the British is going, so the French just don't do anything. They write hold, because the British could go anywhere. And as you can see, this game is a very not solitaire-friendly game. I mean, it's a game of secret tactics throughout. I really don't know of any way you could play this solitaire. It'd be difficult to. So, start of the round 1, they do simultaneously. They flip them over. The French say they're not moving. The British are moving 4 units because they got 4 ships. Boom, to Beauport. And this is where they do battle. So we lay the battle board out. Let's go to the battle. So in the battle, the French deploy first. I'll flip it around, show the French side. As the defenders deploy first, I should say. And so they do it secretly where the British can't see what they're putting down. And if they have enough, they have to put 1 in each column. Left, center, right. They have to put at least 1. So the French will put their highest unit in the center. They'll put a number 2 here. They'll put a number 2 here. And they have the option of putting any in reserve. Now, when they're in reserve, at the beginning of every combat round, you can move them from reserve to reinforce an area, one of your columns, if you wish. And the reason of that is if any of your columns is destroyed, so say these guys are killed, the rest of your forces rout. They retreat, they run away, and your attacker can get a free shot as they chase them down, basically. So you may have one side getting really weak and you want someone in reserve to start backing them up. So I'm actually going to put them in reserve, and I'll just stick this guy over here. So this would have been done secretly. The British don't know what the French put where. Now the British places theirs down. So flip it back over. And the British sent all of their strong infantry. So he has one in center, one in right, one in left because he has to. And now he could put one in reserve if he wishes. He could say, well, he's doubled up over here. I might as well double up there. But you can't move him once you do that. So he's actually going to place one in reserve. Then you flip them back to where, or you can just lay them down because you flip them to where everyone can see what you have, except reserve. Reserve stays hidden until they come out. So you flip them where everyone can see them, and you start combat. Now, as I stated, the defender always rolls first, and in amphibious assault, the defender rolls double. So here they're 2, so they'd roll 4 dice, looking for 6s. Always looking for 6s. Oof, they got a hit. So that brings immediately the British force down to 3, their combat value. Here, the British get to roll 6 dice. The French get to roll 6 dice. So that's 3, misses, and 3 more. Oh, there's a hit. Dwindling down to 3. The Quebec militia right here get to roll 4 dice. Dang, they hit 2. And that one detachment gets to roll 2 dice. Miss. So now the British fight back just with their normal combat value. This is 3 here. Miss. Center is 3. Miss. Oof. And the right flank is 3. Okay, he hit. So the French decides if he wants to bring down the Quebec one, or if he just wants to get rid of that detachment. And he'll just bring down the Quebec one and weaken him. So now the French has the option of retreating now, which he can retreat, and he can retreat to an area as a defender, any area adjacent to you that doesn't have enemy in it. So he could retreat if he wishes, but he's wanting to stay in the fight. And if you retreat, the enemy can't attack you if you retreat. Now, if you rout, like I said, if you lose all units on one of your columns and you rout, then the enemy can attack you. They'll all roll against you while you rout as they pursue you. Now, when you rout, if you have a unit still in reserve, pursue fire hits are ignored for every 2 combat value rounded up in reserve. So let's say the British routed and they did 2 hits to me. Well, for every 2 combat value in reserve, they're protecting you as you're routing, your rear guard, I guess. This one, for every 2, it blocks the hits. So this would block 2 hits if they're still in reserve. So the French right now can decide to retreat. They're going to stay. They can decide to move this unit they have from reserve if they want, and to move them where. This side's getting pretty weak. They don't want that side to rout. But they feel possibly it could hold one more round. The British are not going to move theirs out either. So now we go into the second round of combat. The French roll, but this time they roll normal. The amphibious assault is done. So he rolls 2 dice here. Holy cow, he hits. British down to 2 there. He rolls 3 dice here in the center. Oh, British getting dwindled here. And I'll just roll, they each roll 1 dice. I'll roll the 2 at the same time. Oh my gosh. Yikes. It's the British turn. They can decide to move out their reserve or retreat if they want. Now, the British, in this case, can only retreat amphibiously. They could only retreat back to Orleans Isle. If they retreat amphibiously, the French can attack back. So they're going to stay and fight. Normally when you retreat, your opponent cannot attack back, cannot pursue you. If you retreat amphibiously, they can, which makes sense. You're trying to get on the ships, get out of there, and they're pursuing you while you're doing so. So it's a dangerous aspect. And the British, now they're losing forces, which is not good, because if you remember, you get less than 20, you lose the game. So the British can decide if he wants to move out his reserve. He sees what forces the French have, of course. So he could try to move this here. This is the stronger one. I think he's still going to wait. He's still going to wait in case one of these gets down to 1. So the British forces on the left flank roll. Miss. Dang. Center. Miss. Oh no. Right flank. Oh dear. The French are coming in strong this time. Now it goes back to the French. What the French want to do, he's keeping his reserves out and he's just fighting again. He's rolling 2s. Oh my gosh. The French are here to fight. They want to change history, baby. Rolling 3s right here. Oh jeez. What? In these 2 units, I roll both the dice. Oh. The British are reeling. Oh, my mercy. So the British have the option, of course, to retreat. They don't want to amphibiously retreat. They have the option of putting out their reserve to reinforce, but they can only do 1. So say they put out the reserve here in the center. Well, even if this column lost, they still rout. They're going to rout, and then they won't have the reserve to protect them. So you got this, even though combat is simple, just rolling the dice and trying to get 6s, you do have this great little strategy in here, which is a lot of fun. British are in a tough pickle here, to be honest. And if they rout, they have to rout amphibiously, which then means normally when you rout, the opposing force rolls their normal dice 1 more time against you. When you rout amphibiously, they double it. They double it, people. So I think he's going to stay in reserve just to protect, because I think he's probably going to need it. The British going to attack back. Miss. Center. Miss. Right flank. Miss. Holy moly. French are like, psh, screw this. I'm moving these guys here. His reserve's coming out. He's going to just try to make them rout right now. Roll 4 dice now for these 2. They didn't get a 6. They missed. Center, rolling 3 dice. Boom. Destroyed him. First casualty. The British rout. The French get to pursue them. You don't actually move this on the board. I'm just doing it for fun. So the French pursue, and when they do, because it's an amphibious route, the British get to roll doubles. So this unit's rolling 4s. Boom. Wiped out. Well, I forget. I have reserve who could block up to 2 hits. So let's say that's 1 hit. They missed. The center rolls 6 dice. That's 2 hits. Miss. And the other side rolls 4 dice total. So that's 3 hits. Now you can allocate your hits as you wish. So I blocked 2 because I kept that reserve back. So I'm going to keep them alive and only take 1 hit. So this unit's going to take 1 hit. And they all fall back. And I'll show you where. So this is where they were fighting at Beauport. With those weakened French now, I meant British, now fall back to Orléans. They have their super weak units, and they have the one that was in reserve that stayed in full strength. He falls back. And then the French stay there at Beauport. Some of their units were weakened down, but really, they put a hell of a fight up and stayed pretty effective. And we go on to round 2. And try to decide what the hell they're going to do. The British have to decide, are they going to keep pummeling that? Do they want to pummel something else? Let's keep going. Let's keep playing, people. The British are going to put a order down. Now they know the French probably, yet again, this is not a solitary game, so it makes it difficult to talk about this. But realistically, the French probably presume the British are going to land there again because they weakened them some. So the French may move reinforcement to this area, okay? So the British know that the French may do that. The British may decide, I'm going to attack here instead, or down here. Now this is a stronger force. Number-wise, they don't know what's in there than up here. This is the deep strategy you're seeing come in play. So let's say the French decide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The French decide they're going to move 1 unit, 1 block from this area to here. They're going to move 1 block from Mont, and that's what I'm writing down, 1 from Mont to Bow. The British decide they want to move their units, 4 of their units. Again, they can only move 4 because of the darn ships. 6. They want to move 4 of theirs, and they're going to strike back. They're going to do it. 4, 2, Bow. Another amphibious assault. These amphibious assaults are brutal. But before the British do it, they want to reinforce some of their soldiers. Let me show you. So before they go, they're going to go ahead and get rid of a detachment, and that detachment's going to join this force. Bring them back up to 2. They're going to get rid of another detachment. They're going to join this force. Bring them back up to 2. Now I can keep doing that. I can get rid of another detachment. Bring them up to 3. And that's all I'm going to do for now. So the British got rid of 3 detachments to increase their strength. So the British are going to go. They're doing the exact same thing, bringing 4 of their strongest units, attacking here. And remember, the French said they're going to move a unit into there. And they do. And now battle commences again. Let's see if the French could do any better. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. The French are going to lay out their infantry first. Now they have a 2, a 2, a 2, that 3, a 1, and another 1 that was weakened. So they'll put that 3 in the center again. They're going to put a 2 on the left, a 2 on the right. Do they want any? Yeah, I want a 2 in reserve. And put a 1 on the left and a 1 on the right. So there's 3 all across the board, basically. So that's how the French set it up. The British don't have a clue what he did. And the British have to put 1 on left, 1 on center, 1 on right. And he's going to stick 1 in reserve yet again. And battle commences. They flip over all of them except the ones in reserve. Let me do them where I could see the numbers here. Move this a little closer. And we proceed to fight. The defenders go first, and since it's an amphibious assault, they roll doubles. So there's a total of 3 on this side, so they roll 6 dice, looking for 6s. All misses. Center rolls 3 dice, looking for 6s. French aren't doing as well this time. That flank rolls 3 dice, looking for 6s. A hit 1, down to 3. Miss. Now the British fight back. He's rolling 4 dice here. Oh, 2 6s. Mamma mia. He's going to bring them down to 1. The Montreal ones and the Quebec ones are destroyed. Center. 1 6. Brings them down to 2. These British soldiers are angry. Right flank. Misses. So now the French player decides if he wants to bring reserve out or retreat. He could bring a reserve here because he knows this is probably about the rout. Or he could just simply retreat. Things are getting pretty weak. He wants to dwindle the British a little bit more. He's bringing that reserve out. Quebec reserve in this area. So he's going to fight now. It's 3 dice total in that area he's rolling. No 6s. Oof. Center is only 2 dice now. No 6s. And over here, 3 dice. 1 6 brings him down to 2. The British can decide to bring his reserve out if he wishes. And in fact, he will. He's bringing that 4 out. He's going to try to plug this hole right here. Well, you know, he could focus on the center. There's only 2 dice, 2 combat value there. He could focus rolling 8 dice against it. Or reinforce this one. He only has 2 left here. He doesn't want to rout. That'd be really bad. So that's the strategy there. He's going to go this route. So British fighting here, rolling 4s. Hit 1. Bringing that unit down to 1. In the center. Hit 1. Bringing that unit down to 1. I'm just curious if he would have rolled 8 dice. Let's see. Okay, he wouldn't have destroyed him. I feel better. I bring him over there now. All right, this unit rolls 2 dice. Oh, a 6. Bringing that unit down to 1. And this British unit rolls 4 dice. A 6. He's going to destroy this Troy Riviera. So he's destroying that unit. So the French now are going to retreat, I'm going to say. They're going to retreat and fall back. Let's see where they fall back to. So this Beauport is the area they were fighting in. The French are going to decide to fall back to St. Charles. So they move all their units, their weakened units, back here to St. Charles. Now the British have now taken Beauport. They have 3 full-strength units and one that had taken 2 damage there at Beauport. Since they've now taken an area, the French have to get rid of 1 Quebec militia unit. So they look and see what they have. Actually, right here, they have one that was already weakened. He was already down to 1, so he routes. He goes away, returns home, does whatever. The British now have a foothold on that territory. Now the French go. Round 3. The French are going to stay put. They know the British are going to start funneling dudes in there is the problem. So if the French send a force to attack, the British are just going to be funneling. There'll be 4 more troops to attack there. So what the French is going to do, interestingly enough, let me find it. I just really want to show you how it works. The French are going to decide to raid with their Ottawa. So they're going to write that down. Raid, Bow, with natives. And the British, so they have the option, do they want to just put 4 more sitting there right now? Or do they want to hit with 4 more in this area here? So they're not sandwiched in, because there's only 5 units there. That's what the British is going to do. British is going to say 4 to Mont. So we do those simultaneously. So the French is just going to move the Ottawa here, which we'll handle that in a minute. And the British, before they move, they have these 2 forces. If you remember, they brought them back up to 3. They'll bring another one up to 4. Get rid of that detachment. And they will send Rangers with them. So they're going to send those 4 up to Mont to attack an amphibious assault. So here the Ottawa in the raid, they roll double their numbers. So they're going to roll 8 dice just looking for 6s. Nothing. That's unfortunate. They do nothing. And I just move them back anywhere I want. I'm just going to stick them right back here. And the British didn't have any Rangers or light infantry, so they can't attack back. You were hoping the Ottawas, the French are hoping the Ottawas are going to do 1, hopefully 2 hits, dwindle them down a little bit, but they completely missed. So we got another battle over here. I'm just going to keep playing because I ain't going to lie to you. I'm having fun. Even though this is not a solitary game, it's fun to see what happens. There's different strategies. There's different, like I said, you come down this way. The British decided not to do that. It's just a lot of fun. If you're not enjoying me playing through this game by myself, just skip ahead. Skip ahead to my final thoughts on the game. So the French are going to lay out their infantry. Let's see what they have. They have a 2. They have a 1. They have a 2. They have a 3. And they have a 2. They're going to stick that 3 center. They're going to stick a 2 in reserve. They're going to stick a 2, stick a 2, stick a 1. Flip it around. British don't have a clue what they did. Wink, wink. They're sticking a 4, a 4, a 4. And they got these Rangers. They're going to stick in reserve. So battle commences. We're going to flip over everyone's thing. Everyone's block. And the French roll first as defenders and roll double because it's an amphibious assault. So over here, he's rolling 4 dice. Ooh, he hits. Center's rolling 6 dice. Ooh, that's 1 hit. 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. What the hell? So that is an automatic rout. That unit's completely wiped out. The British rout. And it doesn't have to be an amphibious rout because they have. Wait. No, when you rout, I think you have to rout as the attacker where you came from. Uno momento. Okay, so when you rout, you must immediately retreat, subject to all retreating rules. The retreating player must retreat all units at the same time. All units must retreat to the same zone. The defender can retreat to any zone except a zone occupied by enemy units or the zone the attacker came from. The attacker can only retreat to the zone they came from. Neither player may retreat to the zone that contains another battle, blah, blah. So, the British player must do an amphibious retreat. Oh, man. Amphibious rout, which means the opposing player can double their pursuit dice. So here's the pursuit. Miss. Center rolls 6s. Nothing. I mean, you might luck out. And over there it's 3 total, so roll 6 times. 2 hits. Holy cow. Oh. So this one, I have this in reserve, and they block hits for every 2 rounded up, you block a hit. So he'll block 2 hits. So actually they don't take any damage from the pursuit, and they all fall back to Orleans with their tails between their legs, and 1 unit completely obliterated. And the French stand happy at Montmorency. And stick them back out there. That's the way the board looks right now. British are having a difficult time here. This is how many British units are lost. And this includes the detachments that were used to increase the strength of other units. That's how many they've lost. That's how many the French have lost. Yet again, if the British ever get down to less than 20 of their combat value, they automatically lose the game. Right now they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. So they oh, no, ain't up here. 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39. They have 39. Oh my gosh, what is going to happen? So it would go to turn 4. The French are going to do raid bow again. They're going to do the same thing. They're just kind of make the British come to them. And the British are, they're not going to do that again. They're going to send units and now reinforce bow, forward a bow. Get a foothold and then move everyone. So the French with their Ottawa raid bow. The British are moving. They're going to get rid of 1 detachment, upgrade a unit back to 4. So moving them 2. And they'll get rid of another detachment, upgrade this unit back to 4, and move Rangers with them. Those 4 will land here. Boom. So the Ottawa now attack. They roll 8 dice with their raid. Nothing. There's 1 hit, so the British have to bring one of their units down 1. So they'll bring one of these 4s down to 3. And the Ottawas just retreat back here. But the British have Rangers. So the Rangers get to roll their normal attack against Ottawas. They get to roll 3 dice. See if they hit back. They do not. So that's that round. That's round 4. Yet again, round 16, the British have to hold this and have no less than 20 combat value. So now the British got a substantial force there. What's the French going to do? And what's the British going to do? Indeed. The other times I played this game, the British successfully came down here, took these, took that Cap Rouge up there, dwindling the French units. But this time they've struggled to land on Beauport. But they got there. They got a foothold. It's been a struggle. They've lost some units. What the heck are they going to do? Now they have the French split. The French won't be able to get these reinforcements this way for a while. So I think the British are just going to reinforce and keep sending more to Beauport. 4 to Beau. They're just going to keep doing that. Now what are the French going to do? I mean, the French don't know what the British are going to do. I mean, they're pretty certain the British are not going to attack here with what they got. They're not going to send British troops there to attack here. So the French want to start moving units from here to Etchemin, but they don't want to move all of them. They need to leave something behind. So they'll move 4 units. 4 to Etch. So that's what they wrote down in their orders. So top of turn 5, everyone does just that. The French decide who they're going to move. They're going to move their strongest one, their 3, down here to Etch. They have another 3. They're going to move them down to Etch as well. They'll leave this detachment behind. They'll bring a 2 down here to Etch. They'll bring this 2 down here to Etch. Actually, they'll keep this Quebec 2 back, and they'll move the 2 Montreal 2 down there to Etchemin. Reason being is, as you know, anytime the British player takes a territory, the French have to lose a Quebec block. The British have to take all the way over here, Cape Rouge, for the British to start losing Montreal ones. Well, for the French to start losing Montreal ones. The French aren't too worried about that at this moment, so they'll leave the Quebec ones here. They might lose those, but they want the Montreal ones. So they're moving this area because they can move 4 blocks at a time across the river. So that's where they're going now. And the French decided to reinforce their forces up here. So they're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to move those 4 up in that area. That area is looking pretty strong. And all they have left back behind now is just 1 detachment. That's all they have. And that's that round. Going to round 6. What the heck's going to happen, y'all? Now the French have the option of using these dudes and falling back to Abraham. Why you would do that is because this, as you see this river crossing right here. If you're attacking across that river, it counts as amphibious assault. So the French could fall back, knowing the British will take this area. The French will lose 1 Quebec infantry. But they could fall back to force the British to cross that river. And the French, as the British cross that bridge, the French will be able to roll double attacks against them. I think that's a pretty sound strategy for the French. Instead of the British right now attacking, the French know the British have, in general, better infantry. So instead of just a slugfest land battle, make the British come to them and fight across that bridge. So the French, all from Saint to Abraham. And what would the British do? Well, the British hope they don't do that, don't they? So the British are moving everyone from Beauport to Saint. All from Beau to Saint. So we do them simultaneously. Luckily for the French, as the British are starting to move forward to attack for a massive land battle in St. Charles, the French fall back across the bridge, across the river, to the defenses of Quebec. The British take the area of St. Charles, start burning and then pillaging the countryside. And due to that, the French lose a Quebec infantry. Let me see if there's one weakened over here. No. So they'll just lose one that's right here for the British taking that territory. Oh, man. Things are getting interesting. So that was round 6. Round 7, the French are going to move these units from Etchemin to Sillery. 4 from Etch to Sill. And the British are actually going to move 4 units and attack this super weak area down here. 4 from Saint to Levies. So it happened simultaneously. The French crossed the river here, the 4 to Sillery area. And the British are going to take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to, with their ships, they're going to cross and attack there. Surprise, French! Let's place them out on the battle board. What do the French have? A 2 and a 1. That's it. So they don't have enough to form their full column. So they have to do a skirmish line. When you do a skirmish line, you put them all in the center, and then your opposing force, the British, also puts all of theirs in the center. Like so. Now, a big difference with a skirmish line is, of course, you can't have any in reserve. You don't have enough to do that. I guess the British could if they wanted to. But you can retreat as normal, and if you're routed, there can be no pursuit. So if the British rout them, well, there is no pursuit, so it doesn't really matter. So first, the defender goes, and they roll doubles because it's amphibious assault, so they roll 6. Oop, they hit 1. Let's bring him down to 3. 3 more dice. Nothing. And the British go, he's rolling 3 right here. He's rolling 4. There's 1 hit. Bring him down to 1. He's rolling 2. Oh, 2 hits. Boom. French destroyed. So the British take Levies. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing everything wrong. So the British take that. And the French now have to get rid of 1 Quebec block because the British are raping and pillaging. Here's one way over here. I'm going to get rid of that one. Dwindling the French down a little bit more. So I took that one from up there. So the French are now going sacre-bleu. They're getting a little worried because they have no one down in this area now. The British want to move to Etchemin. They also want to start moving ships over here. So they could try to get some troops up to Cap Rouge, force the French to maybe split their units up to defend. So the British, when they assault from across the bridge, don't have to assault that full force. So the French have to decide now, are they going to bring these 4 back over to Etchemin to defend this area from these French forces? Because if the British, from these British forces, because if the British take this, of course the French have to lose the Quebec infantry. If the British take this and hold it, it'd be harder for the French to attack back because, well, they wouldn't do that anyways, really. But the French would then really want to defend the Cap Rouge up here because they'll start losing their Montreal infantry. But that'll take the British a few turns. We're on turn 8 now. The British would do turn 8, say they take Etchemin. Turn 9, move 2 ships here. Turn 10, move 2 ships here. Turn 11, move those 4 to Cap Rouge. Take there. Yeah, so they still have enough turns to do a lot of these things. So the British have a tough decision to make now. They still got their 4 blocks up here that are just chilling there. They need to start moving them over too. Move them to Beauport. What to do? Decisions. That's why this game is so good. It really is a simple game. But the decision making is fantastic in this game. It's phenomenal. I mean, come on. These are Columbia games, people. This is what's great. Now, yet again, I'm playing solitaire. Play this and showing you how to play. I'm doing it solitaire. But I'm doing a full playthrough of this game, 2-player playthrough with a friend of mine who is from France. So he's going to be playing the French, of course, and he's going to be pronouncing all of these things correct. Okay? We're going to do a full playthrough, so look for that video very soon. I was just wanting to show you a quick video of how the game works, but I'm having so much fun playing, even though it's not a solitaire game, I'm literally having so much fun playing solitaire that screw it. I'm going to keep going. Okay? You can't tell me what to do. I don't know what the French... If the French should come here to Etchemin, what do the French have here? They know the British had pretty strong units because they just fought them. French have 2 3s and 2 2s. It wouldn't be an even match exactly. It's tough, y'all. In the comments below right now, what would you do? French to Etchemin or French to Cap Rouge? Remember, Cap Rouge, at the end of every turn, you start losing those infantry. If they go to Etchemin, if the British take it, they just lose 1. I don't say they cross the river. I don't think they do. I think the French are going to go from Sille to Cap. Do they leave anyone behind? Just to roll doubles? I don't know if they do. And the British, of course, they'd say they're going to keep moving. They're going to attack. So they go from 4 Lev to Etch. That's what they would have done for their order. Yet again, you do those secretly, your orders, and then they happen simultaneously. So the British do that. The French automatically lose Quebec. Do they have one here? No. Do they have one here? They do. No weakened one, so they lose a full Quebec infantry. That's brutal. That's brutal. All right. Turn 9. The French are going Mont to Beau. And the British move in 2 ships. Because you're going to move 2 at a time from here to St. Laurent. British still have this 1 block on Orleans, but really he's stuck there, to be honst. Round 10, French is going to say, screw it. The dudes in Beau are attacking Saint. I mean, they're not doing any good sitting back there, and they need to dwindle the British down, their forces. So French, Beau to Saint. And the British moving 2 ships. And all these French moving in here. They know they're outnumbered, but they don't care. They got to dwindle the British down. Remember, if they get them below 20, they automatically win the game. Do the battle board here. The defender always places first. So actually this time the British are the defenders. And they got quite a bit to place. They'll put a 4 in the center, a 4 on the left, a 4 on the right. They're going to put a 3 in reserve, their leader in the center, a 3 on the left, a 3 on the right, and I'll put a 2 in reserve. And the French don't know what the British have and don't know what the British did. That's just what they see right there. The French know they're not going to do well. Ooh, and they have some pretty weak stuff. But they're going to put a 3 on the right, 2 in the center, 2 at left, and they'll put a 1 in the center with that one. No reserves. They're just trying to dwindle the British down as much as they can. This is a suicide fight right here for the French. Because they're stuck over there. They can't even get to Montreal anyways. Quebec, sorry. But the defenders go first. Here's the British rolling 4s. Oh my gosh. Immediately routed the French. Immediately. French are routed. They have to retreat back to where they came from. And the British can attack back as they rout. So the British roll 4 dice. Oh my gosh. There's 2 hits. The leader rolls 2 dice. Nothing. British roll 4 dice. 2 more hits. British roll 3 dice. 1 more hit. So 5 hits total. So he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. That was an absolute disaster for the French. They were hoping to put at least something on the British, a black eye of some sort. Instead, they've completely and utterly have been obliterated. The British, top of turn 11, now that they got all their ships, are moving these 4 infantry. They're not going to go up there and attack. They're moving to Sillery. So Etch to Sille. And the French are going to, with their Ottawa, going to try to raid in St. Charles. Yep. So first, the French, with their Ottawa, raid St. Charles. British infantry will land here at Sillery, taking another territory, yet again having to get rid of another Quebec infantry. Are there any over here? Montreal. No Quebec. there. And if there's no Quebec left, then you don't get rid of anybody. And there's no Quebec infantry left, so he got rid of all of them. So now the British player knows that. They're trying to raid up here. So he's rolling 8s. All misses. 2 6s. Hey, all right, Ottawas. 2 6s. Oh, the British player has his things turned the wrong way. So that's 2 hits the British player has to take. Turn them around. So he'll take 1 on this 4 and 1 on this 4. And then he retreats back. But the British have Rangers and light infantry here, have both of them. They'll both, as the Ottawas are retreating back, they'll both get to attack. They roll 3 dice each. Miss. Miss. That's a good play. Good play. All right. Top of round 12. What to do? What to do? The French are going to move these troops from Cap Rouge to Sillery. And the British Okay, what would the British do? Would they use these forces to attack Cap Rouge? Forces are okay strong, not super strong. They're okay. Or yeah, I think that is what they would do. Okay, so they'll reveal their moves. The British player is moving to Rouge. The French player is moving to Sillery. They meet along the roadway. When this happens, you fight in the area where there's less blocks. When there's the same amount of blocks, the French player is the defender. So the French are defending. And it's actually the French have the choice to be the defender or the attackers. The French could try to defend Cape Rouge or attack Sillery. They have the choice here. The big difference is, of course, in Cap Rouge, if the French lose, the British take it now. In Sillery, if the French lose, the French could just retreat back to Cap Rouge. But as a defender, you roll first. The French are going to attack Sillery. They're really wanting to keep the British away from there as much as they can. So battle board time. French have a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 3. Oh, that's good. They'll do a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 2 in reserve. That's what the British sees that they laid out. The British have a 3, a 4, a 2, and a 3. British are going to stick the 4 in the center. I don't know why I always just naturally put the strongest in the center. 3, 3, 2 in reserve. And so we lay them out. I'm going to flip it around because this time the French are the attackers. So the British go first, not an amphibious assault, so it's just normal rolls. British roll 3, miss. In the center, British roll 4, miss. And over there, British roll 3. Got one hit over here. French go. French on the left are rolling 2. They're not going to bring out their reserve yet. Miss. Center rolling 3s. They hit. And right flank rolling 2s. Miss. British not bringing out their reserves yet. Right here rolling 3s. Oof. They hit. Center rolling 3s. Miss. Over there rolling 3s. Oh. Hit twice. Routed the French. The French will fall back. They can block 1 hit, because for every 2 you can block 1 hit, because they have reserves. So the British get to just strike back one more time as they pursue. Nothing. Center. Nothing. That flank. 1 hit. The French block it. French fall back to Cap Rouge. At least they stopped the British taking it to this turn. They did a little bit of damage to the British. Not a lot. All right. Turn 13. So the British got to start. They only got a few more turns to take Quebec City. Do they focus on Cap Rouge more, or do they just say, screw it? Ugh. Thinking. So if you take Cap Rouge, yet again, if they take it, the French lose Montreal supplies. The French were dependent on supplies from Montreal. I'm reading from the rules here. To reflect this, if the British player occupies Cap Rouge zone, the French player must eliminate 1 Montreal or Troy Rivier's militia unit at the end of every campaign move after combat. This penalty begins with the next move and lasts until there are no more units. So it begins with the next move. So if the British took it this turn, they don't lose 1 this turn. It will start beginning with the next move. So the British are looking. If they take it turn 13, then the French will lose 2 of them, really. Is it that big of a deal to do? Or and the French, I mean, let's see how many points the British has and combat value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 33, okay. So in this whole area is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So they got over 20 in this whole area right here. So the British could, with these forces, just attack Quebec, try to dwindle them down, have these forces move in the next turn. That's what the British are going to do. They're going Seal to Abraham. What would the French do, though? What would they think the British are going to do? I think they would think the British are going to keep attacking Cap Rouge. So they would stay to defend it. They couldn't get to Quebec City anyways. They'd have to move from here to here, then from here to here. They have time to reinforce it, just not at this moment. So they would actually use the Ottawas, use them again to raid up here. All right, so now this happens. These dudes are going to move into Abraham. Those Ottawas move to raid up here. Let's just go ahead and roll that. Looking for 6s, rolling 8 dice. They got 1. British bring down this 4 unit to a 3. French retreat back. They can't retreat back here. They can go anywhere. So whatever, they'll just go to St. Foy. But the British have those light infantry and rangers. They each roll 3s, or 3 dice, looking to attack back. Nothing. Nothing. So yet again, the natives take no damage. Now we got this big battle. So what would they do here? They got a 1, that weakened unit. They got a 3, they got a 3, they got a 1, they got a 1, they got their leader, and a 2. So they'll put their leader in center. They'll put a 3 on the left, 3 on the right. They'll put a... Ooh, the French are probably going to lose this, honestly. Not looking good. Put a 2 in the center, a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 1. No reserves. Got to hold Quebec. The British have a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 3. So a 3, a 3, a 3, and they'll stick a 2 in reserve. Everyone flips over what they got. And the French defending, they attack first. Just normal dice. So this one rolls 1 dice. Oh my gosh, he rolled a 6. Brings that British down to 2. This French unit rolls 3 dice. Oh, jeez. These 2 units, there's a total of 3 dice. I'll just go and roll them. Oh my gosh. They're doing pretty well. The French leader rolls 2 dice. If he rolls double 6s, he's destroyed. Nope. And over here, these 2 roll 2 dice. And that last one rolls 3. Nothing. The British will bring his reserve out here. So he'll roll 3 dice total in that area. Nothing. In the center, he rolls 2 dice. Nothing. On the right flank, he rolls 3 dice. Nothing. The French can decide to retreat or keep going. What do you think they're going to do? Yeah, you're right. They're going to keep going. You got 1 dice right here. Oh! Oh, you got 3 dice right here. These 2, 3 dice total. Just roll them. The leader rolling 2 dice. Nothing. These 2 rolling 2 dice. Oh, it's 6. Bring them down to 2. That last unit rolling 3 dice. Nothing. The British can decide to fall back if they wish. Just keep going. They're going to keep going. 2 dice right here. Nothing. Center, 2 dice. Nothing. Right flank, 2 dice. 1 hit. He's bringing that 3 down to a 2. And so that's what the British is trying to dwindle them right here now, with their main force going to be crossing that river. French attack back. There's 1 dice. Another 6! Jeez! This is the VIP unit. This detachment. This 1 detachment. Destroyed. 3 dice. 6. Destroyed. Routed the British. They have no reserves. So they get their all roll against their normal attacks. He's going to roll. This is the pursuit. Here's a 3. Nothing. Here's these 2 units rolling 3 total. Nothing. Here's the leader. Nothing. Here's these 2 rolling 2 dice. Hitting once. And that unit down there rolling 2 dice. Nothing. So 1 takes 1 damage. And they rout. Back where they came from, to Sillery. And the French continue to hold Abraham. Set them all back. And the British are reeling. The French took some blows too. So now the British are crossing. They're going to cross that bridge and they're attacking from Saint to Quebec. And the French are going to start moving from Cap Rouge down that way. Cap to, what's that place called? Saint Foy. So the French move all of theirs from Cap to Saint Foy. And the British are amphibious assaulting across that bridge. I mean, it's considered amphibious assault, but they're just crossing across that bridge. All right, here's this battle. All right, French are going to lay theirs out. They got a 1-1, a 1-1, a 2-1, and a 2 and a 3. They're going to put their 3 in the center with their leader. They'll put a 2. They'll put a 2. They'll put a 1 and a 1. And they'll put 2 in reserve. Oh, sorry. Can't see what I'm doing, can you? They'll put 2 in reserve. Flip that around, see what the British is going to do. Because the French can, if they have to fall back, they can fall back to Saint Foy with the other main French force and then attack really one last time. British have a 3, a 3, a 3, a 2, a 3, a 3, a 3, a 1. All right, they're going to put Wolfe in the center with a 3, light infantry on the right flanks. Another 3, 2 in the center, and reserve. Let's get it on. Here's the French. They got a 2 and a 1 over here. They got their leader. And we got those. Now this is actually pretty historically accurate as what happened in Abraham, is where the main battle took place. Both leaders were killed in the battle, the French and the British leader. Let's see if that takes place, shall we? All right. So we got the French doubling up to begin with because it's considered an amphibious assault across that bridge. So he's going to roll 4 dice. Miss. God, you didn't need to miss, you French. Miss. The leader. Miss. He'll roll again. Miss. Oh my gosh, this one rolling 6 dice. Miss. Oh no. Oh, 2 hits. He'll bring this one down to 2, this one down to 1. This unit right here rolling 4 dice. 1 hit. Bring that light infantry down to 2. And this one rolling 2 dice. Whoops. Oh, 1 hit. Bring that unit down to 2. All right. British going to put their reserves out. They're not. They're fighting back. This one rolling 3 dice. Oh, there's a 6. Down to 1. That side's looking pretty weak. This one rolling 3 dice. Nothing. The leader rolling, Wolfe rolling, gosh, dang, rolling 2 dice. Nothing. This one rolling 2 dice. Nothing. This one rolling 1 dice. Nothing. You know what? I just noticed Wolfe, when I rolled 2 doubles. It's not if you roll double 6s you die, it's just any double at all. Double 6s would just count as 2 hits. He rolled 2 5s, so Wolfe was destroyed, killed in battle, just like in real life. This unit rolls 2 dice. A hit brings it down to 1, and that unit rolls 2 dice. Nothing. So the French decide if they want to put out any reserves. What reserves do they have? They have a 1 and a 1. That's all. Oof. They'll put out, they're going to do it. They're putting out a reserve there. They're putting out a reserve there. All right, so this side, the French are rolling total of 3 dice, that whole side. Nothing. The French leader rolling 2 dice. He gets 1 hit on the British center. This French unit rolling 3 dice to see if he can become a clutch. Nah, he can't, nothing. And the French flank over here rolling 3 dice total. Nothing. British want to put out a reserve. He's going to put them out in the center. The center's getting weak. British rolling 3 dice here. 1 hit. Wipe them out. British rolling 3 dice here. Nothing. British rolling 3 dice here. Nothing. And these two rolling 2 dice total. 1 hit. Bring that unit down to 2. British rolling, both of these, 4 dice total. 1 hit. Completely wipe out that unit. Let me see how much the British have in combat value. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So actually, the British lost the game. Once they ever get below 20, they immediately lose the game. You can keep playing it out just to see what happens, but they lost. They don't have enough combat value. Oh, man. And the French have these forces that are coming in too. The British have these, but it's only a 2 and a 1. And they have this dude still over here, which is only a 1. The British are below 20 combat value. French won. Vive la France! That's Quebec 1759. Let's go down the table. Let me tell you what you think. Let me tell you what I think about it. And I guess I'll tell you what you think about it too, what you should think about it. So that's Quebec 1759. If you can't tell, I think this game is great. It's a fantastic, phenomenal game. You know, I intended to just do a quick video and show you the components and how to play the game. And I fell into it and played the whole dang game. Even though it's not a solitaire game, it's not meant to be a solitaire game, it doesn't really play great as a solitaire game, I still had fun playing it. And just seeing the strategy and how it's going to lay out. Every time you play, you can do a different strategy. And of course, the die rolls come into effect and they're going to change up your battle plans. This is a fantastic game, Quebec 1759. And such a good starter to get someone into the block style war games or just strategic, historic war games in general. It's a good starter for that. I think the box says it's for age 12 and up because the gameplay itself isn't difficult, and the combat and the battles, none of that's difficult. It's just the strategy of what should I do, move where, when. The deep strategic just comes into that, and so that's fantastic. Love the game, love the components, love the map, love the battle board. This is a high, 8.5, 8.5 rating for me. It's such a fun game. Now, if you played this back to back to back to back to back to back to back, played this 10 plus times over and over and over, back to back to back, it may start getting a little repetitive, but I don't know. Every time you play, it's going to be something new, something different. I've played it a few times, and it's completely different outcomes and strategy every time I've played it. Played it with the British won. You saw this one. Play it with the British lose. It goes back and forth. Great game. Yet again, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment below. And on March 24th, you can win this. And you'll love it. You're going to really love this game. So please subscribe to my channel. Check it out. And thank you so much for sticking around for my insane solitaire playthrough of Quebec 1759. Bye.